I'm Ava, and I've spent the last 3 years of my life traveling solo to some of the world's most remote and offbeat places. From horse trekking alone in Mongolia, to living in Pakistan for a year, and spending the first 3 months of the pandemic stuck on a remote island off the coast of Yemen before making my way back home on a cargo ship, it's been one hell of an adventure. But recently, I decided it's time for a change. I've been dreaming of being completely free and independent with a little nest of my own. So I bought my dream truck, a Land Rover Defender, and started converting it into an off-road overlander / mini camper. How do you go to the bathroom? How do you make money? Don't you have a crew following you around at all times? Does it ever get unsafe? Do you ever get lonely? These are the kinds of questions that I got from you. Some of them I get a lot, like the toilet one. Others are a little bit more unique and a bit more unexpected. Today I'm going to answer 20 of the 1,000 plus questions that I got from you in my last post, and then I'm gonna do a little rapid fire round at the end. Plus there's gonna be cameos, well, one cameo with Mike, and different locations, because I want to show you a little bit of this beautiful, quite touristy, but still very, very beautiful region of Turkey. So let's jump into it. The first question that I want to answer, and I don't even have to look at my phone to check it, and this is a question that I've been asked so many times, is how do you go to the toilet if you live in your car? So the answer is, and you have to watch me carefully right now, the answer is here. Like, not just anywhere, obviously. You'd go find a very private spot, dig a little hole, and or just go to like a Starbucks or a gas station. There's loads of toilets everywhere. Like, it's not as big of a problem as you would imagine. Anyway, on to some of the other questions. So I got a really interesting question from Peter, who asked something that is like almost my pet peeve. Like, I understand how people don't really know about this, but what hurts me is the accusation that comes with it. So Peter is asking, I love your videos, Ava. Thank you, Peter. I'm curious how you get those epic drone shots while you're driving. Is it just a smart track feature, or do you use another method? So, Peter, and everybody who's wondering, no, I don't hide a drone pilot in the back of my car. There is nobody else usually traveling with me unless it's, someone very close to me. Yeah, it's a smart track feature. So most DJI drones, I think all the modern DJI drones, have a smart track feature. So you just set it to track like you or your car or any object, and then it just automatically like does circles around you or follows you. It's as simple as that. Next question from Despo Traveler. This is also one of my favorites, is how many countries have you visited and what are they? Now, I love this question because I don't count countries. I don't know, somewhere between 50 and 100, but I consciously stopped counting countries because I feel like it really takes away from like the essence of travel. If you're counting countries, what exactly are you doing? Like, really the only answer is you're collecting social currency, I guess. Counting countries doesn't reveal how much of the world you've seen. I could spend a year just in Turkey and it would just be one country, but I could have countless experiences. If you count countries, do consider my point of view. Well, for the next round of questions, which will be about my old life before vlogging, let's move to a different location, shall we? Maybe somewhere over there. Audrey, who is asking, how did you get started with this lifestyle? Or what was the first step to get you full-time adventuring? Well, let me just say that it was not a smooth ride. Definitely not. First of all, I have no background in filmmaking. And second of all of this came about as a result of me hitting rock bottom in what I now call my previous life. So 4 years ago, I was living in London, between London and Brussels, working for like a fast-growing media startup. I was married, so it was very, very different. And I kind of had built that life based on the premise that that's what success looked like in life. But deep down, I was terribly unhappy, and I started seeing signs of that pretty pretty early on, actually. It was much more than just like what we kind of jokingly call like a quarter life crisis. I got into some really destructive behaviors, and that's kind of how I realized that I need to change something. Because if I didn't change something in my life, I might not be here any longer. And that's not even an exaggeration. So after doing a lot of really painful soul searching, and I'm just really making the story very, very short for your benefit, I decided to quit everything and start completely afresh. So I ended my relationship back then. I quit my job. I left my apartment. I called my family to tell them that I'm leaving everything behind and going traveling full time. And obviously they thought I was completely crazy. I decided that I want to build my own dream, and that was storytelling and traveling. So I bought a secondhand camera. I taught myself how to edit videos just using YouTube tutorials and by doing, and that was the start of the journey. So I had to hit rock bottom in order to bounce back and create something really special. If you are in that place right now, just know that you can create something really beautiful and lasting out of any crisis. Next question, new location? Let's do it. A question from Sarah, and Sarah is asking, are the camera crew and cast keeping you safe at night when you sleep, or do you just protect yourself at night? Well, Sarah, my question to you is, what camera crew and what cast are we talking about here? There's nobody here. As you can hopefully and probably tell, the camera is not being held by a cameraman, it's being held by a tripod. This is just a one-woman show, like most of the time. I'm just traveling alone and filming alone. Yes, also the drone shots. And I do have a couple of people working with me, but they work remotely and they just help me with things like planning and editing, stuff like that. No camera crew or cast here, as real as it gets. Maybe one day. But I don't know if I would want that. This just gives me so much like independence and freedom. All right, next question. Jane, do you ever feel awkward when vlogging in public or filming other people? Or is it a feeling that you learn to ignore? Well, yeah. You definitely have to learn to ignore the awkwardness, which you'll always experience at first. It always feels strange. And even to me these days, I still have to like battle through that initial feeling of, oh, what will people think? It doesn't matter what people think, Like if someone judges you for creating content, why should you care? Besides, every single time that someone has paid attention to me while I was filming myself somewhere, and they, for example, came up to me, they would just ask like, are you a YouTuber? So it was really nice to share my YouTube channel with them, and overall, a positive outcome. I know it's weird, but you just have to battle through it. Just one of those things, All right, let's go. So a bunch of these questions are related to sort of traveling alone or traveling full-time. Rashida is asking, was there ever a time in a remote location where you genuinely feared for your life, either by the threat of nature or people you've come across that made you feel unsafe? Yes. There was that one moment where I really felt like I was gonna die, and that was when that cow attacked me in Montenegro 2 months ago. I'm not even exaggerating. That was the scariest moment in all of my travels, maybe even in my entire life. I really thought I was going to die that minute. But as for other situations, yes, of course, there have been moments where I feared, or where I had a sense of like, oh my God, I don't know if this is the right thing that I'm doing right now. Am I in the right place? But there was never really like a real threat. But I'm also like very, very cautious about avoiding threats like that. So it may seem to you like I'm just like going, anywhere and just bumbling along. but I do take safety precautions quite seriously. So for example, I would never like go out at night all alone in a place that I'm not familiar with. Or if I ever feel like a sense of danger or threat, I just leave the situation immediately. Like I just follow that gut feeling. And if I'm staying in a remote place all alone, usually like there's gonna be nobody there. These strangers with like chainsaws and guns that we imagine, I have a feeling they only exist in horror movies. I hope. So no, there have been no such situations, really. Philip is asking, do you ever feel like you're going crazy out there on your own sometimes, which makes you just have to go somewhere to get some human interaction? Very rarely. I just love being on my own. I don't know why. I just really like spending time by myself. I just find it so nice. Isabella is asking, are you sometimes tired? Oh, there's so many flies. Are you sometimes tired of always being on the go, traveling and not having a permanent house or flat where you could relax? Yes, actually. Yes, it does get tiring. Living in a van versus living in a 4x4 is also a very different kind of experience because, you know, a van is almost like a small studio and you can basically live there full time. With a 4x4, it's a little bit different. Like, the space is very small and it's difficult to work properly for like extended periods of time. And that's why sometimes I rent out Airbnbs or flats or even guest houses, stay in guest houses or with friends so that I can focus a little bit, do some like, so many flies, do some like focused work and then go back and enjoy this life. So now I think it's a good moment to start driving back to the Airbnb where I'm staying for the next few days. Okay, one more spot because it's absolutely gorgeous before we head home. A question from Nikki that I love. What advice would you give to your 20-year-old self? 1, don't take yourself so seriously. And 2, take yourself very seriously. You know, don't think that you have to carry the weight of the entire world on your shoulders. That's why you shouldn't take yourself too seriously. Don't put so much pressure on yourself to be perfect. But do take yourself very seriously in the sense that question the norm. Ask yourself what it is exactly that you want out of life. Give yourself time. Think. Dare. Be brave. Here we are at home, temporary home, and Quality Guitar has a very interesting question that a lot of people ask about. You seem like a very happy person, but I guess sometimes you might feel lonely, sad, or anxious in the middle of your adventures. How do you deal with that? Yeah. I mean, just because I travel alone doesn't automatically mean that I feel lonely. Like, in fact, I'm always meeting new people, and it's a rare occurrence to be completely alone for a really long period of time because people are everywhere. But if you're talking about like feelings of sadness or anxiety or loneliness, like, yeah, of course I feel those things. And it might seem like I'm just always happy, but keep in mind you're mostly seeing like a highlight reel, and I am happy 90% of the time. But there's the 10% which, you know, it's hard to film it sometimes because when you're feeling nervous or stressed out or just plain dejected, grabbing a camera is not always your first like instinct. I don't know if there's a solution to that. Like, I've been trying to be more mindful of my emotions and be more accepting of what I feel. I've been meditating a bit more. I've been trying to like analyze myself a little more. I don't know if those are good things. Basically, I don't know. I don't think I have answers to those questions. I think I'm just like anyone else. I wish I had a better answer. Let's go inside. There's a question that I think Mike and I should answer together. Question for my Q&A?
Do I ever want to answer a couple questions for Q&A?
Okay, this can get real awkward real quick.
What are the questions?
Christine is asking, just wondering how you've been able to maintain a relationship with Fearless and Far, Mike, while being long distance.
It's your vlog, you start.
I think like WhatsApp video calls.
Or Skype, or FaceTime, or Facebook.
Yeah.
We started dating just right before the pandemic hit. And so we had a few good months together and then 4 months apart because we couldn't see each other because of the pandemic. Then I came over to Europe and then we hung out for about a year or so. Mm-hmm. And then I got summoned to the United States for a really big project that took my entire summer, and then Eva was supposed to come visit, and then COVID got in the way again. We booked flights, we weren't allowed to board flights, and then four more months went by.
Basically, because of the pandemic, we didn't see each other for 4 months twice.
Yeah.
Which was hard. What's the secret?
There's a lot that goes into it, right? Because if I wasn't doing my own channel and my own thing, and you were traveling, then I'd get left behind. And if I was traveling and you were doing your own thing at a desk job or something, then you would get left behind. And the fact that we're both doing our own things, no one gets left behind. Because you go to your thing, I go to my thing. The cool thing about this job is we can bend schedules and commitments to be able to see each other in Istanbul or Bangkok or wherever. Or we can be conveniently unavailable pretty much all the time. But I think the main thing is that because we both have our own stuff going on, if two people are kind of pursuing their own dreams, then they encourage the other person to do that. But if one is out adventuring all day long, meeting cool, sexy people, doing cool, sexy things, whatever.
All the cool, sexy
and the
people.
other person is just watching it all on Instagram, that doesn't work very well.
Yeah, there has to be that like equality, that equilibrium between two people.
Trust has to be the first thing because, again, we do spend much more time apart than the average couple does. More than we'd like as well.
Yeah.
Right?
Here's a question that was upvoted a whole bunch of times. I really want to know how you plan and make your vlogs. Do you plan all the shots first, or do you have a script and film according to the script? So usually the idea comes first. For example, if I know that I'll be filming with a specific like community or group of people or a culture, then I need to make sure that I've got the logistics sorted out and that I get in touch with someone from that community and that they know that we'll be filming. Otherwise, I just kind of go. And I do usually come up with a bit of a structure, not like a script per se, but just a rough outline of what it is that I want to be filming and kind of in what order, because that helps me prevent filming everything. When I was starting out with this YouTube thing, I would just film everything, which just made the edits of my videos completely overwhelming. So knowing roughly what you're gonna film is helpful, but I always, of course, allow for like spontaneous moments because that's usually what makes the best videos. Bleh is asking, what are the rules that you made for yourself as a full-time traveler? Well, I have a real big problem with rules and authority, so I try not to make them for myself. But I would say that if there's one like reminder that I always have in my head for myself, it's to enjoy. And I don't mean like, be careless, go partying and just woo. No. I mean like enjoy in its truest sense, like get joy out of everything that you do as much as possible. And Grant is asking, what books are you reading while traveling? Do you have any recommendations? You can actually find most of my book recommendations on my Instagram. There's a highlight reel titled books. If there's one book that I really loved reading in like the recent times, it was Sapiens by Yuval Noah Harari. Sapiens is basically like a story of mankind, humankind. The philosophy, the sociology, the economics, the history, the development. It's really accessible and just talks about the development of humanity through the millennia in a mind-blowing way. I think everybody should read that book at least once in their lives. Okay, I'm gonna shift this around and sit on the floor. Oh, this is so nice. Next question. So there's two questions here that are very like practical, and I always get asked these questions and I just want to answer them once and for all. What's your skincare routine? I don't really have one. I wash my face with water and sometimes soap and moisturize it with cold pressed oils, like floral botanical oils, all natural. And I don't really use makeup on my face. I haven't used foundation or powder. Well, like powder, maybe like twice in the last year, but foundation I haven't used, I think, at all in the last 2 years. And I think that helps. And I also think that like leading a healthy lifestyle, healthy and active, might have something to do with the fact that I'm very lucky to have not terrible skin. And then, as a female who wants to travel like you, I want to know how you maintain hygiene that time of the month while traveling in the wild. Periods. Very simple. I use a menstrual cup. Easy. Right, let's move over there. Money, money, money. Everybody wants to know how I earn. Yeah, I mean, us like YouTubers or influencers, I hate that word, don't really talk about money very much. But here's a question from Tom. Is YouTube alone able to sustain you and your travels, or do you have other sources of income? So the short answer is YouTube is my main source of income, and I earn on YouTube via ad revenue, which is generated by like you watching the ads in front of my video and in the middle of my video. I also sometimes work with brands, and I'm lucky enough that I can choose the brands that I really like and that I really support. So sometimes you'll see me making videos with brands, not very often, but sometimes. And I also make videos for other media platforms like Euronews or Deutsche Welle in the last year or so. So I would make like travel episodes for them and get paid that way. And I also have a Patreon page where people who like what I do can choose to support my work either on like a one-off basis or on a more regular basis. And you know, there's perks, like recently we did a little live stream, or there's just sort of exclusive updates about my location and what I've been up to, which yeah, it's a nice little community. So if you want to join it, there's a link in the description box. Right, we've got a couple of big questions about the future here. And after that, we're gonna go into the rapid fire round, which is gonna be fun. Of all the places you have traveled to, spend time in so far, where could you see yourself setting up a permanent homestead and why? There really isn't a place like that. Like there isn't a place that is like 100% this one. Because you see, like I would love to just have like a big piece of land in the mountains with forest where I could like keep horses and sheep and goats and dogs and just like have a wooden house. And just have like freedom and be kind of self-sustaining. But I don't know if I've picked a place for that. Maybe Romania. I really love the nature in Romania. Maybe that one. But I haven't decided, and I'm really not at that stage yet, so I'll have to wait and see. We'll probably get there like in the next couple of years. So if you stick around, you might get an answer to this question. And then the last question in this Q&A, like the last big question is, do you have plans to have your own family and do the same things that you're doing right now? Actually, no. I don't want to have kids. I've never wanted to have kids. You know, when I was like 10 or 15, I knew that I didn't want to have kids. And everybody would just tell me that, you know, you'll change your mind when you're like 25, when you're 30. The maternal instincts will like kick in. But they never did. And I just don't see my life with children. You know, a lot of people find a lot of meaning and like self-actualization in having kids, but it's just not for me, I don't think. I don't feel at all this desire or this need. So no, I probably will never have kids. And I'm quite happy with my choice to be child-free. That's that. About settling down, yeah, I can sense that in the next 2 or 3 years, I will probably seek to have some sort of home base from which I would then travel. But we'll see. I try not to worry about it too much. I try not to overthink it right now, because right now, I don't want these things. So we'll cross that bridge when we get there. And now it's time for probably my favorite part of the video, which is the rapid fire round questions. So we've set up a little tripod contraption here because I have no idea where my tripod is. And my lovely assistant here, Mike, is going to be throwing the questions at me. All right, let's get set up.
Okay, number one. What is your religion?
None.
How many languages can you speak?
2 like really well and like 2 more fluently.
What is your astrological sign?
Taurus.
In all your travels, what's the nastiest thing you've ever had to eat?
Scorpion! No, cow brains before I went vegetarian.
Are you a dog person or a cat person?
Dog.
Are you a member of your government's secret service?
Well, if I told you, I'd have to kill you.
You've traveled to many places and have done many adventures. How long is that bucket list still?
Very long, extremely long, never ending. An endless amount of places to see and things to do.
Do you work out?
Yes, I'm a trail runner.
What's the number one thing you can't travel without?
A smile? That's so cheesy. It's kind of true though. Everything else you can do without.
Would you consider yourself an introvert or an extrovert, or something in between?
Definitely something in between. But I don't really believe in the labels anyway, so. And then I had a bit of a mishap. Oh my god, my knee. really hurts. I went for a run to celebrate the Q&A video being finished, and also to keep training for an ultra marathon that I had signed up for. And I felt amazing. I felt like I was flying, and then I tripped over a chain and fell flat on my face on the concrete, hitting my chin, my lips, and my knee in the process. So my lip looks really huge right now. I don't know if you can see it. There was blood in my mouth, so I thought I had knocked my teeth out. Luckily that didn't happen. And my knee was kind of okay. And then just after icing it, it started hurting a lot. Oh man, I hope I didn't just jeopardize my chances of running. Anyway, so that's that. Thank you for watching my Q&A. Life was so much fun just a few hours ago, and now it's just a little bit more painful. Anyway, more adventures to come. Like this video, comment, and subscribe. Help me feel better. Alright, keep exploring if you can, and see you for the next adventure. Mwah.